And we're back. All right.
Oh, I
Sorry,
boomed and
misclicked.
everything. Here we go.
Yeah, you boomed, but it was my fault. It was my fault. All right. All right, folks, we are back. We are excited to continue our adventures. I believe we just had Bima inadvertently set up a cascade chain of events, which can only end well.
Oh, yeah.
I think we hand this on a silver platter to our GM and say what happens next.
Oh, yeah, totally. So I think Bima, like, busts through, and just as Beamer's like, what are you looking at? We see the prince behind Bima, like, start to contort and, like, twist, and, like, the royal shirt he was wearing, like, sort of rips a bit at the seams, and his limbs get longer, and his, like, face becomes, like, thinner and, like, more muzzle-like, and you hear, like, the snort of a wolf as he begins to, like, transform, and he gets, like, hairier, ears grow bigger. And he, what does he say? I think he says, while he's transforming, "You think you're so clever to come in here and rip off my mask. But you know what they say, tales can't travel far if there's no one to share them."
So I think the reason we're quiet is we need to establish this. Judd, do you want to be Faye or do you want me to be Faye?
Oh, yeah.
Bima's got a whole bunch of, like, when things get nasty moves. How's your beastie doing?
Uh,
Do you have any?
no, let's go with Bima for a little bit. I feel like
All
we
right,
need
cool.
to-
In which case, you're Faye.
You're
Feel
Faye.
free to hold
Yeah.
the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she gets into like a softball position and like brings her elbow up and she's looking right over it, and yeah, no, she's not like moving it. I think she just gets very still, like the ball's coming and she's just like planting on that back foot.
Nice. And you see the
Yeah.
wolf does that sort of like the gadoosh of like big wolf feet now that have like split out from his pants, and he like sort of begins to tower over you, and he sort of snorts again.
Yeah,
You
she
do.
says, "You better back off unless you want to knock in the head."
"I'd like to see you try,
Please.
little girl."
Oh, snap. This is where we look at your beliefs and we see if you have any that can back you up.
Heck yeah. Do you get angry?
Oh, challenge beliefs. Now this is interesting.
Do you do you just go at him and refuse to look before you leap?
Yeah, I think I refuse to look before I leap. He says, "I'd like to see you try," and like the shot is on her eyes narrowing, and she tries.
Excellent. Okay, so when you refuse to mind your manners, it's just a flat 2d6. Then the banner you're rebelling against in this case, look before you leap, and then roll.
So I'm
Judd,
rolling.
probability
Two.
says.
What's
Go.
that?
I was about to quote Gambler's Fallacy. Please go ahead.
So it's 3d6.
2d6 in this case. That is a flat roll, yeah.
Got it. Ugh.
Wait for it. So something scary is about to happen, I'm sure. Tell us what
Yeah.
happens.
6. Yeah, well, on a 6 minus, it says, "What part of your rebellion is misunderstood by others?"
Well, actually, I have a question.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I have
go.
a move called Free from What You Fear, which is if you find yourself in a dark or scary situation, and I believe it's nighttime in the woods,
Oh, yeah.
tell the girl how it's going to be okay. So, which
Nice.
allows her to reroll. So this is a true failure, but like, do we execute the miss and then I give a chance to reroll, or do we handle this? Like, I make my move and then we see if we can reroll. What's the order of operations?
So
as
the
it
order of
were?
operations is before we narrate the outcome of that move, you can trigger the runaways move to try and get a reroll. But if you want some fictional stuff, I think like I think the wolf like grabs the branch, right, that Faye is coming at, and we hear like crack a bit is like this wolf like claws close around it. And if you would like to be free from what you fear, you can go ahead and roll that.
Yeah. What does Bima say?
Unfortunately, the only thing that's going through my head right now is that song from Aladdin, "One Step Ahead of the." Sorry, I think Bima like as the branch is cracking, and she sees like the girl's eyes widen. She just looks at her, and I think what she says is like she just says hey, and like as the girl looks at her, she just like flips out the knives and she says, do you know what this wolf didn't count for? You're best friends with, the world's greatest thief. And then there's just this she runs right at the whole scenario where the wolf is like holding the branch and like power slides very much like soccer right underneath the wolf's
Nice.
feet, and then like leaps up on his back with two knives going hi so
Excellent.
I'm gonna make a move and tell you that it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because
you can
we're
roll-
a team. We're a
you can roll
team.
2d6 or 3d6 if a belief applies.
I don't know if a belief applies. You two can decide that. Let's see how this goes.
It could be doing what's right. This is like
I am doing what's right. I'm not abandoning my friends in this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go. 7! Yeah!
Heck yeah.
So you're gonna get a chance to reroll and add a
plus
+1 to your total. But on
Got
a
it.
7 to 9, what do you fear will happen?
Yeah, and that's to you, dear Bima. What do you feel will happen as you slide tackle into this wolf?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think actually what I'm afraid of is like that, like my shadow, I will lose my friends and I'll be alone again.
Oh, that is so sad.
I think that's probably why I came back, right? Because like Pima's like, I don't need nobody and nothing. Also, I'm lonely. so yeah, I think that's her feel. That's her heart.
Okay, go
Judd,
ahead.
roll some dice and add a
Yeah, roll
+1.
some dice.
3d6 K2 +1. Let's go.
8.
Oh no, wait. Yes. Okay. Okay.
8.
Excellent. On an 8. So you overcome the challenge, but how do you falter or go too far in the process? Bima's slide tackling this wolf. You have like your baseball bat stick. The wolf's upon you. How do you overcome this?
But I go a little too far.
You're a little too far.
Well, what belief are we challenging again?
All right, we're challenging the manner. Look before you leak.
Huh. Wow, I really don't know what going too far here looks like. I need some help.
Yeah, totally.
Well, one of the things that our family insists on is remaining prim and proper and staying sort of like staid and trustworthy and
Oh,
with
I think I
decor.
know what it is. I know what it is.
Take it away, Jed.
Cool. So I think she like hits the wolf and then like drops the stick and jumps onto the wolf and starts to like growl and snarl and howl, and Bima sees that she's in danger of becoming a wolf.
Oh, that's so cool. In fact, I think like the pixies, you like see then that there are some sort of hiding behind like some branches, and when you go feral, they start to like do the giggle howl and like sort of dance around you with like some glee because they're like, it's one of us.
Yeah.
She's returned.
And I think the pixies are reminiscent of the way people circle up when you fight with the bully back at school.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, or the kids who like cry out and like feed on the drama and like want to fight. Yeah.
Judd, can we play off of this for just like a quick second?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Bima like yells out to Faye, and she's like, Faye. She's like, too far. Do you think like that slaps Faye out, or do you think it doesn't? Because if it doesn't, I have a plan.
I don't know. Yeah, is there a way we can? Is there a runaway move that could help?
Yeah, actually, I think there is a beastie move that could help. runaways are good at being very practical, right? So like,
Right.
we're good at running away from things. We're good at finding stuff. We're good at finding secrets. We're good at helping you overcome problems. But we're
Yeah.
not really good at exploring feelings or talking to you. That feels more like a beastie thing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I mean, it's kind of me talking to myself, but if you want to take Faye,
Yeah, that's fine.
going kind
We can
of going
merry-go-round
kind of
this.
feral, and
let's merry go round.
yeah, we'll carousel and merry-go-round and yeah, Thunderbolt's like, Faye, you got to get a grip here, kid. You're you stare at the wolf too long, and it's not good.
Are you trying to impart wisdom upon me?
Yeah,
This might be
yeah,
this
yeah.
might be tongue tied if you're trying to talk her out of a problem.
That's awesome. Yeah, you should roll that.
Cool.
So that is 2d6 or 3d6 if a belief applies.
Uh,
Also, we also need to write a belief about not looking before you leap.
Yeah. I think the belief about looking before you leap is I mean, maybe something about going too far, like maybe something like that
Ooh.
about if you
We could also
You know,
say, well, it's a question of like, what do you take away from this? Like, is it about calculation, or is it about like sometimes action gets results?
Yeah, I could totally see it.
Actually, let's can we wait until this resolves? I would like to see
Yeah.
Jud's roll.
Yeah, we can totally do
Because
that.
I feel like what lesson we take from the situation is based on how the situation ends, not the middle of it. If that's okay.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Yeah,
All right,
let's do it.
Judd.
So I'll roll 2d6.
Yeah, roll 2d6. Let's see how it goes.
That's how it goes.
I got an 8.
All right.
Yay! So,
So-
on a 7,
Yeah.
on a 7 plus, it was. How did you get out of a similar situation you once found yourself in? That's to Thunderbolt. So how did what? When was a time when your friend was you had to talk a friend down from something, or they went too far and you had to ground them?
Wow, and this is like Thunderbolt.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is to
So, like-
Thunderbolt. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Wow. I'm trying to think of like what kind of friends Thunderbolt would have had. I mean, I think it was a another kind of forest animal, you know, maybe like he was friends with a skunk, and it wanted to it was scared, and it wanted to spray a wolf, and he was like, don't spray all of it, like you don't blow the whole gland, save some. I know you're scared, but you gotta get control. And
Nice.
and
And
like yeah.
did that reserved stink gland get you out of a pickle like later on that day?
It did, like because the skunk saved some of its skunk stink gland for later. When the wolf's friends came looking for us, we the skunk had enough to spray them too.
Nice. And is this how you relay this to Faye? You're like it's like if you're a skunk and you've got to like save up some of that for later.
Yeah, totally. I think he like starts talking about, I know like you want to unload your whole stink gland, but you got to save some of that stink for later. Yeah.
And Faye, how do you receive these grounding words from Thunderbolt?
I think, I don't know, Thunderbolt, do you try and like grab a piece of my clothing and maybe pull me off of this like wolf battle that
Oh, like up by the tusk, like sort of hit your collar
Sure.
under you.
Sure. Yeah.
hey kid, let me tell you about a skunk.
Yeah.
So
Don't blow your whole stink gland.
I think that probably like just being near her friend and being separated from the fight is probably helpful. But there is a downside to a 7 to 9 on that move.
there is. Yes, ask the table who gets hurt because of my chattering and how.
I have an idea.
Yeah, what's your idea?
I think it's Bima, because she's left to fight the wolf alone, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you slid tag of the wolf, and then maybe the wolf turned upon you and was just like...
So I think I think that probably we focus on the scene of the Thunderbolt talking Faye down, and like by the time you can like remove your tusk from whatever it is that, you know, like her collar or whatever you caught her on, you know, and she like actually calms down a little bit and like lets that wolfishness out and just comes down off of that particular like growly instance of anger and everything. I think you know, she says like, thanks Thunderbolt, and then like as the camera turns around, like Bima is like doing that like limp walk forward with like blood running down you know, one side of her face and like blood on her hands, and she just like throws down a wolf pelt and goes, greatest thief ever, and then promptly falls face first into it.
Oh, that's very cool.
That is awesome.
Oh, that is very cool. I think like the pixies that were dancing around you sort of quiet a bit as they see this like wolf pelt sort of like land on the ground, and you see them like sort of doing a serious whisper amongst them, like.
Can I suggest that there is like a naked boy over there?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Okay. Because I realized for a second that I was like, oh, I don't think she flayed someone. That's a little gruesome.
It's a bit too gruesome.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I think this is just like one of those rules, right? Like a silky skin or something.
Yeah.
I love that a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Am I still in
Which is interesting. So
Faye,
I guess I'm sorry, what's that?
Am I still in control of Faye?
Do you want to be?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think Pima's
Yeah.
unconscious.
Cool.
Is that fair?
Yeah. You take Faye.
Okay.
So there's an interesting question here of, was this really the prince with a wolf pelt on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Which I think is kind of fun too. Because bad guy princes are cool.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, I think I know what happens too. I think like the pixies scatter as this shadow like looms over where the group of you are. And if you look over your shoulder, you can see it's the old woman. And she has that knife in her hand, but it's a bit slack as she comes across the scene. And it's like a low whistle. She's like, dang, I thought you said you were a thief. To Bima, I guess Bima's unconscious.
I think Faye actually looks at the old woman and says, and I thought you said I should try hunting.
Well, you seem pretty good at it, if you ask me. How did you find it?
I think Faye kneels down and pats Bima's head and says, the difference between me and that wolf is he was a lone wolf and I had a pack.
It's been a long time since I've had a pack.
So, lady, when you were trying to turn this kid to hunt the wolf, did you know the wolf was a prince? Because that would be shady.
I think she snorts and she says, like, as much as I hate to admit it, I don't think he's the wolf. I think he's just an individual corrupted by circumstance. I mean, I didn't like him that much to begin with anyway. So in that sense, maybe he was a bit of a wolf. But I'll be curious to see how things change around here. I feel like we're finally getting some answers.
I think like Thunderbolt stage whispers to Faye and says, That was a lot of adult nonsense talk to try to get you to not realize she tried to trick you into hunting the prince. You gotta be wise to that.
Are you trying to impart wisdom, Thunderbolt?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
great. Okay, cool. If you impart wisdom, roll 2d6 or 3 if a belief applies. And we'll just count, if you get a 7 plus, we'll count as like a plus, like a benefit forward. So the next time
Yeah.
the girl rolls, she has
I think this is like do what's right, what not what you're told. I think
Oh yeah, totally.
I'll do 3d6 on this. Awesome. No, not awesome. 9. Yeah, it's not bad.
That's pretty good. Cool.
Yeah.
So, what truth did you neglect to share with the girl? And the girl will get to re-roll on a future roll of hers.
Truth did I neglect to share? That she is right, that royalty, can be predatory animals. Not can be, but are. Let's just come out anti-royalty on this.
You, sir, are a pig of the people.
Yes.
I think that there's just like I think there's probably a moment where Faye looks at Thunderbolt and says, so, I guess we cleared your name, and she says, do you think you can carry Bhima? She seems still to be napping.
Yeah, put her on the tusks.
I think she arranges her gently, and then picks up the pelt and looks at the old woman, and she says, so, does this wolf pelt grant me something? Is there some sort of reward? Actually, no, she wouldn't say that. What she says is, where can I find the king?
Oh. I think the old woman looks a little bit closer at the pelt, and again, just a bit of a snort, and says, you've got to be a bit more specific. There's a couple of people who like to think themselves are as kings around here.
Where do I find the person that put my friend in a cage?
Oh.
Now that's an interesting one.
Because the prince referred to that person as their father, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess this one's dad?
Yeah. I think she,
holds up Signet.
the old woman takes the jewel of the signet into her palm and sort of runs a thumb over it and says, see, this one's father will be harder to find than you think, I fear. He's rather cowardly and keeps to himself and his nest of trinkets and gold. We call him the Crowing King. See, he has an eye for trinkets. Where he lives exactly, it's some day's journey from here, if not longer. I wouldn't advise you go there. Not unless you really have to.
I think Faye says, what do you think, Thunderbolt?
I mean, you don't have to get revenge on my account, kid. I mean, I appreciate you looking out for me, but...
Revenge? Well, actually, I think what Faye says is, I was planning to trade the pelt for a promise to not imprison innocent people. Revenge is a very different thing, I think.
It is. It is. I thought, okay. I thought maybe you were still a little feral. Okay, good. Good. Systemic change is good.
I love the fact that our boar has, like, large socio-political ramifications. It's like, well, monarchies are the simplest system of government, but truly, if you are looking for justice, like...
I've read a lot of shitty children's books, and I just like I know what I want people to be saying to kids.
No, I find it absolutely delightful and hilarious.
Good.
This is not a character
Good.
I would normally encounter, but I can 100% see it, and I am behind it.
Awesome,
It's very good. But I think like what this woman does is she like goes to like sort of whistle, but what comes out instead is like a caw sound, like a corvid crow, like magpie, kind of like it's not very like pleasant, dulcet whistle. And from like almost out of nowhere in these like sort of dark woods, a crow like lands on her shoulder, like looks at you with like a beady eye. And she like turns her head into its beak, turns her ear to its beak, and does like that, yeah. And then like sort of gives the crow like a sort of morsel, and then it like flaps off. And she says, "Well, if you're that determined to go and see this crowing king fellow, you might just be able to bring some of the magic back to these lands." Sounds like magic is dying quite rapidly. Apart from one place. I'll give you 3 guesses where that is, and the first 2 don't count.
I actually don't know. Is it the Coin King's Palace? Or
Yeah.
there was like a weird library place we defined last time.
Definitely, yeah. She says, if I had to bet on it, and I don't often bet lightly, the Coin King's Palace.
Wait,
likely the source of this magic.
You did say that people tend to steal what they want.
Wouldn't have put it past that library fellow either, if you asked me. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they're working in cahoots.
Yeah, my Faye is a little more introspective maybe than a kid her age should be, but I think what she says is it's not always just one person that's greedy.
That's very true. I think she like looks over her shoulder at the prince like on the ground.
I'm sorry, my cat has found a rubber band and she desperately wants me to play with her.
Aww.
So go on.
Look, I can give you some directions on where you want to go and food for a couple of days. Anything else? It's the least I could do. Some more lasagna.
She gestures at Bima and says, like, we could probably use a place to sleep for a day.
I mean, if you want to take that risk, you can. We're welcome to take a bed in my hovel over there.
We can take turns.
Risk? What risk?
Who knows if you'll wake up again?
We took the wolf out. Should be safe now. I think Faye leans in and completely jokingly whispers to Thunderbolt, I don't know, but there might have been pork in that lasagna.
That's not funny.
Oh, it isn't. I'm sorry.
I mean, what if I said there was a little girl in that lasagna? How would you feel about that?
That's terrifying!
I know, right?
Faye exits this world a vegetarian. Actually, that may very well happen if she hangs around a bunch of talking animals anytime longer. I mean, one talking cow, we're done. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we probably crash for a day until Beamer recuperates enough, and
That sounds fantastic. Are there any sort of color scenes where you're just like chilling out for a while in the city as the folks start to wake up?
I don't know, Jed. What do you think?
I feel like maybe like Faye goes around and talks to people about what the king is like. I think she wants to know more.
All right.
Oh,
You know?
neat. Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. And I
That's
think
super
like
cool.
her mother has done some like volunteering in like local politics, and so like yeah, she has this thought that she has to like walk around and talk to people, you know, like her mom did with the clipboard, uh, to play this game. Like that's how adults play it, you know. So she is walking around and talking to them about the king.
That's super cool. I think what happens is like over the course of the evening, like people like wake up and we see the smoke billowing out of chimneys again. And I think like it's like a small sort of like celebratory gathering, like in the sort of around the fountain area. And I think like there are kind of like a what you call it, one of those like street party, like a block party.
Yeah.
Where people like sort of bring out food and that kind of thing, and everyone's like hugging and having a good time and relieved that they've like woken up and are trying to like figure out how much time has passed since they fell asleep. And I think like if Faye can like sort of talk to people who are just like enjoying themselves around this bonfire. I think the bonfire, like, it's weird because the center of it has color, like the sort of amber red hues, but then the flames kind of like gradient up into that grayscale again. Like you can see the kernels of like magic beginning to blossom in the city.
Nice.
And I think like one of the townspeople, like with their mouth like full of lasagna, is like, "Oh, sorry, the Coin King," and then like, "Ha." He what would the Coin King do? One time he came through these parts and it was insisted on us paying this thing called taxes. And then the next thing you know, all of our gold is gone.
Did you feel like you got some services in response to the in exchange for these taxes?
Not at all. He took from us and then he just flew back to his castle where he sits every day counting his coins.
Yeah.
I hate him.
That's why you steal your coins right back. That's Bima's attitude. If he steals from you, you just steal right back. It is your given right.
That's when the townsperson's like, well, I mean, it sounds dangerous.
Of course it's dangerous. Where's your sense of adventure? That's what makes it fun.
Tell you what, sense of adventure can sometimes lead you into a lot of trouble. And I think like they look to Faye to like am I right?
Jed, are you Faye or am I Faye? I don't know.
Oh, I think I Jed.
Yeah,
I can actually tell the difference between Judd's Faye voice and Judd's Thunderbolt voice, and that was Thunderbolt voice. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be Faye though. We can merry go round. Yeah, I'm not gonna make Faye a party to libertarian taxes or theft nonsense. So she'll say, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Well, very measured.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll get it. We'll sort ourselves out. Who knows? Maybe the services are just very delayed.
Could be. Is there anything that you would want me to tell the king if I were to see him?
There's a lot. There's a lot you could tell the king for me, but I don't think it's for polite conversation. No.
I love these peasants.
There's nothing you can tell the king from me, but if you're that good at what you do, if you're that good at thieving things, there is this teapot that I was very attached to that I guess was nice enough for the king.
I'm the thief in the group. In case anyone's not clear, I think Bima just launches into a big story about fighting the wolf and being awesome. But yeah.
And I think even the townsfolk, if Bima's like, I'm the thief around here, the townsfolk is like, come to think of it, in that case, would you take this for me? And like they hand out, they feel around in their pocket and they take out like a porcelain whistle and hand it to Bima.
Bima looks incredibly confused and is just like, you do not understand how theft works, do you? But go on.
No. I don't. I'm giving this to you. Well, it's not a gift. It's to help me out. But if you blow on this, it'll help you find the teapot.
Magic whistle. Nice. Can you hold this a second? She tries to hand the whistle back to the guy.
Okay, and it takes the whistle off of you.
She just snatches it right out of his hand and goes, I feel so much better.
That is very good. Is there anything else you want to do in town or other conversations you would like to have where we can fade into going to sleep for the evening?
Yeah. Give me an...
Nice.
Start next day. Sorry.
Yeah, very much so. Oh yeah. So I think like what happens is we come to the next day. I think like the sunrise is a little bit of pink, and this like otherwise quite grayscale gradient. And Graham, the old lady, I think puts a map in Faye's hands, but if you like sort of roll it out, it's a bit kind of like a sort of Marauder's map situation where it sort of fills out as you go.
Oh, okay.
And I think she sort of hands it to you and says, I haven't quite found a use for this yet because I've just been stuck in the wolf wood. But maybe it can do you some good. And sets you up with like a lasagna for a while. It's always piping hot. And anything else you would like for your journeys? And she sort of points you in a direction. And you're welcome to go off on your travels. And I think as you set up down the road, there are a couple of those Fae ghosts that are lingering on the outskirts, sort of watching the festivities, the magic that's come back to this place ever so slowly is kind of drawing them closer. And it's kind of like sort of like looking in through the window glass, like, oh, I wish I could be inside having a warm meal, but I'm stuck out here, kind of thing.
Ghosts are sad.
And let me think. I think like we'll color in what this journey looks like by asking the question like, what impossible thing from Faye's perspective, what impossible thing do you see on the road ahead of you, and what reminds you of what small thing reminds you of home?
Do you wanna tackle that, Jed?
I was thinking. Hold on. Let me just see the character sheet real fast. Um,
I have an idea if
yeah, go. Let's go with you, Josh.
all right. So I think I think what we so like I know what fantastical thing we see, which is it's like a plane with like the road weaving through it, and every once in a while there's like a giant rock or two. But the thing that's absolutely fantastical is there are like mushrooms the size of buildings.
Oh, cool.
Um, and in particular, there's probably a moment where there is it rains. It's just like a rainy day. There's nothing magical about that. But as you know, Faye and the troop find a spot underneath a mushroom to like rest while it's wet because gosh darn it, Bima is not getting wet. She makes a big fuss about that. I think Faye is reminded of one of the few times she sat with. Did we decide which parent left? Was it the dad or the mom?
I think it was the dad.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's probably like one of the few times her dad wasn't like the military strict parent, and it's like when she's a kid and she was having trouble falling asleep, it's like the sound of rain on like an awning, and like water falling off of that awning is a lot like the water falling off the mushroom.
Aw.
So it's probably like that's reminiscent of a good time. How's that?
That's very good.
Nice.
Do you think you would like to add, Jed?
No, no, no.
Big
That's
thought.
that
is
that's great.
beautiful. And I think like as the rain clears up and you get that nice, it's weird because like you get that petrichor, but there is a distinct smell of home about it that comes with those like rainy nights that are calm and so very peaceful. And as you set out along your way, I think it's like maybe a little bit foggy and misty too, like as like it's quite a little bit humid. And as you make your way down the road, through the mist, you can see this. It's like very standalone, two-story, like weatherboard wooden house with like a nice porch out front. And you see a young person with very tightly woven, like sort of braided pigtails. So yeah, sort of those like braids that go like this. Standing at the porch, fiddling with like a device. Looks a bit like one of those like weather thermometers that sort of has like change and like that kind of like from a distance it looks like one of those like big weather thermometers. And she's like, she frowns and like adjusts her glasses and like sort of taps the thing and looks over to where your group is like emerging from the mist on the road and raises an eyebrow and sort of like holds a tentative hand up to like say hello. What does your group do? And who would like to be Faye?
I can make Faye if you want to be the boar,
Cool.
unless you're feeling
Cool,
it.
cool. Yeah, that
Alright,
sounds
cool.
good.
Sweet. I will be Faye. In which case, I think Faye raises her hand tentatively and waves.
And as you wave back, like the person on the porch relaxes a little bit. And do you approach? Like, are you gonna head towards the house?
I mean, it's nighttime, right?
I think like it's now. I think we've been traveling. Yeah, it's like we've been traveling enough where it's sort of like late afternoon. I think it's been like a day's travel for sure. Yeah.
Faye shrugs and says, "We should at least say hi. Worst case scenario, it takes a couple of minutes. Best case scenario, we get a proper bed for the night."
Sounds good.
And as you approach the house, like the young girl, as you get closer, you see that she's wearing like a very high collar, button down dress. It looks sort of very like formal. She like adjusts her glasses again as she comes down the porch steps, like greet all of you.
Glasses, I've missed my glasses. Go on.
And she says, "Hello, may I help you?"
Hi, I'm Faye. This is Thunderbolt, and that's Bima?
Bima's shy.
Faye gives you a look like you're lying. But she looks back and says, what are you doing in this field of mushrooms?
Oh, well, I live here. I'm a scientist. I like doing lots of experiments on these mushrooms.
What is your hypothesis? I say, quoting my 5th grade teacher.
Nice.
She says, well, I was recently doing some study on weather patterns and these mushrooms. They seem to grow a lot just before it's about to rain. And then when the rain leaves, they kind of shrink again. It's very bizarre.
When you say shrink, do you mean they like become normal mushroom? I don't even know what normal mushroom size is here.
But there's a strange thing that's been happening recently. I'm not quite sure what it is. There's something different about the air or the ground or the magic that's in this place. It's ruining all of my experiments. What's the point in having a hypothesis if you can't have strict testing conditions?
Maybe it's just a guess.
A guess?
Yeah, a guess.
I look at her face like, I couldn't even like possibly fathom like having a guess at something. I'm Ruby, by the way. I'm so sorry. I did not introduce myself earlier. I just get very excited about experiments.
I can tell. Do you like lasagna?
Yes, I like lasagna.
Can we trade you some lasagna for a place to stay?
Yeah, of course. I do so much like company. It gets very well, my sister is lovely, but it gets very lonely when you just have your one sister.
Oh. You have a sister. I have a sister.
Yes. Really? What's your sister's name?
We never named
her.
Judd. Wait, I have a solution to this. This is why Apocalypse World games have names.
Yeah, there's a name list in the back of the
book. That's right. Her name is Serena.
Serena, lovely. Oh, what a lovely name. My sister's name is Rose. And she very much lives up to it, I can tell you that. She's very into...
Spiky, full of thorns?
Don't say that to her face, but if you ask me, yes.
It's my favorite part of roses.
She's very pretty. Although maybe you two will get along.
I hope so.
I'm sure you will. Come in. And she like sort of ushers you inside. And as you like head to the door, you notice on the porch there's like 3 sort of like rocking chairs that are meant for like around like a little table. And as you go through the door, there's like the little entranceway with like a rug and like a place for boots, and it looks very much just like a very mundane home, very true to like architecture in your home world. And she's like, feel free to take your shoes off if you like. You can put your coats up there.
How many pairs of shoes are there?
Oh, there are 3 pairs of shoes. And
are the shoes like I'm trying to place like so is Ruby like what position child is Ruby? Are some of the shoes smaller than hers or bigger than hers? Like what's the... Oh
yeah, it's I feel like it's a bit of a 3 like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears stitch, where like you have a very glittery, almost like a red sparkly
pink flowery shoes, and what's the
pink
3rd
flowery
pair?
shoes. Oh, actually, I don't think there's like a pair that looks very like prim and proper, like very Ruby like, and then there's this like a patch of dust around where a 3rd pair of shoes used to be. Like
but they're missing.
They're missing, yeah.
Okay.
She's like, you can put your shoes down if you like, but if you want to keep them on, that's fine. Can I make you some tea or like a hot drink?
I think I'm still not supposed to get things dirty, so I think I take my shoes off. But I imagine I do not think that Thunderbolt's hooves are quite that clean, are they?
Yeah, Thunderbolt's very carefully like wiping his hooves on the placemat.
What a plight
And, like,
boy.
come on, it's good don't want to live up to a stereotype. We're very clean animals.
Oh, I know a lot about boars. Ruby says.
Really?
Well, yeah, I've got plenty of books on them.
Nice. What
I've
did they
been-
say about boars?
Well, they say that they're very loyal and very strong, and they. What else do they say about? Wait, what is a fact about boars that she knows? Oh, I got a good one. What is a fact about boars that she knows that is like a little bit incorrect?
Oh, nice. That I mean, I think that they're very aggressive and that they bore everyone to death. That they gore people to death, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. She says, and I think she like looks a bit embarrassed when like she gets that fact. She's like, well, I mean, I've read that they get very aggressive under the right circumstances. I'm not saying you're going to get aggressive now.
I prefer to talk out my problems. I mean, I don't, it's just how I tend to roll.
Very well. What do you? I mean, do you drink? Gosh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Did boys drink tea?
Sure.
I have some nice herbals if you prefer an herbal.
Nice. I think when she turns around, he turns to Faye and says, "What's tea?"
Leaf juice.
Oh, it's not just a letter after S?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Is it good?
For the record, I love tea, but I'm pretty sure that a young child is probably not quite as enamored. Which
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, there is a ritual associated with it in tea parties and stuff like that. I don't know if the drink is delicious, but you can certainly put a lot of milk and sugar in it if it's not. What do you feel like, Judd? Would Faye like tea?
Very
Very young
not.
Strash thought that tea was very bitter, but
Yeah, I
very
think
bad tea.
probably
prepared
not.
badly.
I agree. I agree with your take. I think probably not.
Okay. Yeah, I think she goes.
Yeah. And I think yeah, Thunderbolt like suffers through it because he's too polite. He's like, "This is great."
And Ruby's like, oh, thank you. I quite enjoy this blend. It's I harvested it myself from the mushrooms that grow around here.
Ah.
Mushroom tea?
Yes, it's very earthy. I quite like it. It's very grounding and very. It sounds very silly, but it tastes very scientific.
Tastes like science.
And I think like as you're sipping tea, the door kind of like a door from another room in the house, like down the hallway, busts open, and you hear like a I hear those voices that I hear. Do we have guests, Ruby? And this other young woman, other young girl comes in, looks very much like Ruby, has the same sort of dark hair as Ruby, no spectacles, and has like a painted lip, like bright red painted lip. And is like curled her hair, it's sort of like quite big, and is wearing like a pink dress that matches like the shoes set by the door. And she sort of like curls her finger around her hair as she approaches it. Oh, I didn't realize that we were having guests over, Ruby. Introduce me to your friends. And Ruby's like, well, this is Faye and Thunderbolt and Bima. They are looking for a place to stay this evening, so I said that they could have a bed. Everyone, this is Rose, and Rose is like, oh, pleased to meet you.
I think I stage whisper to. Well, actually, I don't stage whisper. I whisper to Thunderbolt. I think I made a mistake. We should get out of here. But she stands up and takes a deep breath and then politely curtsies and takes the hand, or whatever she was taught was the correct set of actions in this sort of. She's treating Rose like an adult, whether Rose realizes that or not.
Nice. And as he's like, Rose is like very pleased to meet you, and Ruby's like, oh, Faye also has a sister called Serena, and Rose is like, oh, how delightful! Its sisters mean everything to me. I'm so delighted that I have this one.
Hmm.
Do you also have a brother?
Sister? No, I just have my sister. We're very close, Ruby and I. How old is your sister, Serena? Is she older, younger?
Actually, I think Faye's gonna insist on this. I think, particularly because she's a middle child, right? I think she says, then what happened to your third sibling?
And then, the Ruby's really quiet. And, Ruby and Rose look at each other. And there's a really pregnant silence. And then Rose giggles and is like, no, we don't have it. We don't have another sister. That's always been Ruby and myself.
Aha. Ruby, I have a hypothesis. Would you care to help me with an experiment?
And Ruby looks very quiet and is pushes her glasses up her nose a little bit and says, I always like a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm. My hypothesis says that in a house where there is an outline of a third set of shoes and 3 sets of silverware and 3 chairs on the front porch, there should be 3 people.
Well, it's silly. Of course there's more than 2 people now. You're here too. There's plenty of people around.
What does Ruby say?
I think Ruby shrinks and gets very quiet.
Rose, we suspect you're lying.
I love Thunderbolt.
So good.
Not only because you compared yourself to Serena, who is named after the greatest athlete who has ever lived or played any game ever, when you are named after a daft plant, but just because in general we think you're lying.
This sounds like you're doubting the surface of the person
Yes.
project.
Yes.
That is 2d6 or 3d6. Oh, we need to write a belief for not looking before you leap. I can see that one being sort of, you letting your instincts guide you, or you had a really good one too, Starash, about
sometimes the wrong action is better than no action.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
That is a pretty good one.
It's Sun Tzu.
Did we come up with a belief? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I just suggested the wrong action is sometimes better than inaction. But
Nice.
I didn't know if you had a different one.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. Our child is gaining quotes from The Art of War. We are terrible parents, Judd. What are we doing?
I feel like that this definitely applies in this situation.
Yes. I'm going to roll 3d6.
Go ahead.
Awesome. I rolled a 10.
Lovely. So on a 7+, ask the guide or their character's player what truth is hidden beneath the surface. How does this manifest? So you confront these two and you say you're lying.
Yeah.
We think you're full of it.
I think you're full of shit. And I think it's. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have you gonna say? Would you like to say something, Judd?
What is the truth hidden between the surface? Right. That's what I.
Yeah.
Is that what I ask? Is that what I say?
Is that something you smell?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, nice. Can I smell the third sibling, hidden in the attic or something?
Oh, that's good. Um, yeah, that's a really good one. I think you do. What was this? What would a middle child smell like? That's a good question.
I mean, generally you can smell like action. Like, do they smell like tears and whimpering, or do they smell like?
I think you catch the. This is gonna sound really bizarre. You catch the scent of a turning page, like someone reading a book.
I mean, libraries have a scent.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the scent of a library, and at first you thought perhaps it was coming from the bookshelf that you saw when you came into the house in the first place that Ruby pointed you to, but when a page turns from the upstairs attic, the scent grows a lot stronger and sharper, like the edge of a page.
Cool.
Yeah,
is that Thunderbolt who that hits, or is that Faye?
That is Thunderbolt, yeah. So Thunderbolt catches like the scent of activity coming from upstairs, and I think downstairs, Rose sort of puts a hand on her hip and is like, I'm sorry, but I think it's quite rude of you to come in here and accuse us of things. We're hosting you. We gave you tea and a place to stay, and you're accusing us of lying.
None of those things has to do with you lying. None of them.
And like Marisa like puts her heel on the ground.
I think Faye is about to challenge belief here. I think.
Oh, nice.
I think she stands up and she says like, yeah, but if we didn't say anything and someone was in trouble, then we would be bad people. What's wrong with your sibling? Why are you lying about them? And I am trying to challenge a belief, which is one must not vex others.
Oh, cool. That's a really good one. Yeah, so go ahead and roll 2d6 for refusing to mind your manner. That is a flat 2d6.
You said it's 2d6.
Yes, yeah.
Boop. Hey, yo! I got an 8.
Nice. Okay, so on a 7+, how do you overcome the challenge? And on a 7 to 9, how do you falter or go too far in the process? Would you like to, is this trying to get like them to open up about what's going on?
I think so.
Nice. And how do you think Faye goes a bit too far?
Let's take a quick look. I think what she says is like, I can't tell if you're ashamed of them or if you're just trying to forget them.
Oof.
That's good.
Dag.
And I think that's when you notice that Ruby's been trying to hide the fact that she's crying. And you only catch it because you see the glint on her glasses as she lifts them to sort of like wipe at her eyes a bit. And Ruby says, Rose, I know they're strangers, but they're right. I think Rose like snaps a look at Ruby of like betrayal. Still like in complete denial. And she says, no, this is ridiculous. There is no other sibling. There is no one else. It's just the two of us.
Oof.
And
I think at that point Faye probably just stops listening to Rose and I think turns to Ruby and she says, Ruby, do they need help? Actually, no. She'll ask the simplest of all questions. She'll say, what is your sibling's name?
Oh, that's a good question. And I'm just looking at the name list. And Ruby, I think Ruby, like, yeah, she wipes her eye and sort of, I think she pulls out she has a handkerchief actually, she's stabbing at it, and she sort of like wrings it a bit in her hands. And she says, her name is Gia.
Is it okay if we take her some lasagna?
Yeah, I think she'd like that.
And let me know what Rose does.
Well, that's a good question. I think it's when we see the thorns and Rose like come out, right? And I think Ruby goes to reach into her pocket and like pulls out a key, and Rose like grabs her by the wrist and says like, "Don't." And I think like the sort of like light levity in her voice like breaks, and she's like, "Don't do this, Rose. Don't do this, Ruby."
I think this is where we see Faye going too far. I think Faye absolutely looks at Rose and says, "Rose, do you like tea?" And she holds up the pot.
And Rose is like, "I don't understand what this has to do with anything right now."
Sploosh!
Very good. And I think like with that splash, like Rose is just like, ah! And like sort of drained, like her pink dress is like drenched in mushroom tea, and her like perfectly curled curls, dampen and get wet and bedraggled, and like I think there probably had bits of mushroom in her hair.
Whoops!
Do you like abscond upstairs?
I was looking to create the opening for Ruby to sort of lead the way, because I think that Faye doesn't actually know where this third sibling is, and she wanted to do something that wouldn't hurt the other girl but might give her like that moment of hesitation of, do I straighten myself out and look all prim and proper, or do I keep trying to stop this fiasco from happening?
Awesome. I think like, so you pour the mushroom tea over. I think Ruby gets it. Like that's the cue, right?
Yeah.
And Ruby snatches her respect from her sister, and then like books it up the stairs like towards the attic, and like her hand trembles as like she tries to put the key in the door, and she like slams it in, turns it, and like opens the attic door. Do you all go into the attic?
I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we have to see what is going on with this third sibling.
Okay. So you bust into the attic, and it's like a kaleidoscopic like rainbow
Whoa!
like a disco ball kind of like situation going on. And there's like lilting flute music. The books are kind of like flying around the room, dancing.
Are you saying that there is a ton of magic in this room? Is that what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
getting? Okay.
And in the center of it all is this. She's like what does she look like? I think she's. Oh yeah, she's like girl on top, like from the waist up, and then from the waist down, it's almost like a gin like sort of cloud, but it's bits of paper, and bits of like pages from books and stuff that sort of like carry her as she's like spinning around this room, and she like looks at all of you as you enter, and she's like, "Oh!" And then all the books sort of like poof, and like sort of plummet to the floor, and then like the magic light kind of like recedes, and she's like, we have visitors."
I brought lasagna, and I pull out the kerchief that it's been in and open it up and offer it.
And she's like, "Oh my god, I love lasagna! It's like my favorite food ever." And
Mine
then she
too.
just, like, and then she like dives in there and so like gets a handful and like shovels it into her mouth. And she's like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Do you want some lasagna, Thunderbolt?
I mean, I can catch a truffle later on the road. I mean, she seems really hungry.
It's been a while since I've eaten. It's a good thing I can live off of books. Stories are very filling.
Whoa.
What? What you look? What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing. I've never met somebody who could eat stories.
Yeah, it's quite handy actually. When you're in a room like this, don't really go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm gonna go downstairs and shit in Rose's bed. I'll be back later.
I love how upfront Thunderbolt is about this. BRB.
And Gia's like, that's hilarious. That'll really piss off Rose.
Yeah, I think you will. Do you wanna switch? Do you wanna take Faye
Sure.
here, Judd?
Yeah.
And all right.
Yeah.
I think Gia gets like close to Faye and it's like, well, what are you doing here? Where are you going? Like, tell me your stories.
We're going to see the king.
Oh, the king! I think I've read about him.
What did you read about him?
That he's a king. He lives quite far away, and that's about it, really.
He's a crow king. Comes a voice out of the shadows.
Oh yeah, I have heard him being called that before. Is he a crow? That's what I can't figure out. I'm not sure he's a crow or like a person or like both. Does he control crows? I don't know. That's my books. That's as far as my books go.
This is my friend Bima.
Bima cartwheels out of the shadows, bows with an absolutely exaggerated flourish. Takes Gia's hand and says, "Charmed," and then promptly just plops down in the middle of like a puff of dust.
And then Gia giggles a bit, and the books flutter a bit around her, and she's like, "Oh, charmed."
She's the best thief ever.
I am.
Oh, I read about this too. They're interesting. There's some books that are they're the best people ever, and they take down the bad guys, and the other books are they're kind of mean, but you don't look that mean.
Well, I did take down a giant wolf, and I stole the pelt right off of him.
What?
Wait, I think I have a move for telling tall tales.
You do have a move for telling tall tales.
That's amazing. I would like to make a move. When you meet someone important and tell them of your magnificent adventures.
Heck yeah.
Have you ever considered having adventures of your own, Gia? I hear we could use a magical companion. Are you a paper mage? Hang on.
Nice. That sounds fantastic. Are you lying a little bit to make someone feel bitter?
Oh, heck yeah.
Nice. You can go ahead and roll 3d6.
Boop. Oh, I didn't do keep highest, but it would be a 5 and a 3, so that's an 8, actually.
An 8. Awesome. So on a 7+, what do they divulge about this location? And on a 7 to 9, ask another companion what part of this story is true.
It's untrue.
Oh, it's untrue. Sorry, yeah.
So I think I already know the answer, but
yeah.
Judd, what part of this story do you think is untrue?
Can you just go over the main points of the story again?
Oh, I think it's absolutely how I single-handedly took on the Wolf Prince. Sorry.
Oh, got it.
And cut his skin off, and how I was absolutely totally. No, I don't think so. I think that I roll up my legging, and there's an over-exaggerated bandage. That my leg is fine and I can walk just fine, but I'm I play it up about how wounded I was that I still fought on and all this other stuff. But yeah, I was clearly by myself, and I handled this problem, and I'm the best.
We were there, Bima.
Yes, you absolutely were there to watch how I was the best.
I did take a swing at him.
Did
that help?
I think Bima will reach into her cloak and pull out the wolf pelt and show a piece of the ear that's missing that you bit off.
Nice.
Very cool. And Gia is glittery eyes, obsessed with the story, and she's like, "That's amazing." She's like, "I really wish that I could have some stories of my own. I don't really get many stories living here." I mean, I read all day, and I know so many of them that like.
What if there's only one solution?
Yeah.
You need a couple of blank pages and an adventure!
I would love an adventure. I don't know if I can leave though. Rose and Ruby said I had to stay here.
I think there's like a moment where at this point Bima's brain has shut off from all other possibilities and she's mostly just looking at Faye being like, yeah, can we keep her? Come on.
If you would like, you can come with us.
Would that be okay? She like looks over her shoulder at like the door, and I think like that's when we hear like Rose's footsteps like stomping up towards the attic, and Gia's like, oh, we better go now, but I'm gonna be in big trouble.
Rose, do you want to come with us too?
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. I think Rose like gets to the top of the stairs, still drenched in mushroom tea.
Or sorry, I meant to say Ruby. Oh. Ruby, do you want to come with us too?
Oh, Ruby.
Yes, my bad.
And I think Ruby looks a bit scared.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, and she like sort of shakes her head very much like, no,
Are you sure? You don't have to stay with her.
But all my experiments are here.
You can do other experiments somewhere else.
But I put all my equipment. It would take hours to pack, and I'm not confident or bold like Gia is.
That's okay, I am! I pull out both knives and there's no time for tea. I'm about to cut away out of this room for us.
It's amazing.
Boldness! I've got that aplenty! You can borrow mine! Let's see here. Rolling, trying to escape a dangerous situation with your friends. Do I have any beliefs that apply?
Good question. But this is do what's right, not what you're told.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Boop! How? How, Dice? I hate you so much! Alright, fine.
Was that 3 dice?
That is 3 dice! It is the worst day!
What did you roll?
Bima just has a bad day. Alright. It's a miss. Take it away, Gia.
Oh no.
I really wanted to rescue these girls. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, that's how the dice go. What deeper trouble do I lead everyone into? Oh, yep. I know what it is. So I think like you inspired Ruby. Like Ruby is like looks at you and then just like shuts the door behind her as like Rose gets to the front and it's like, okay, we gotta go. And Ruby, I think oh no, I know it. G is like, yeah, like let's go. I sort of busts the attic window open and like waves her hands in the air and like commands the books to like create like a staircase like down out of like the building, and then she sort of like dances a step at a time like down into the books, and Ruby like scurries after her, and I think it leads. I said, do all of you follow down the book? I'm assuming all of you like follow down the book.
Of course.
The book steps.
I think there's probably a piercing whistle from Bima who's just like, yo, Thunderbolt, exit time! Yeah.
Yeah, cool. How does Thunderbolt, I guess like, I imagine Thunderbolt is like a bit cautious down these books.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think he walks out of a rose-colored bedroom, and
he wasn't joking.
Yeah, and yeah, like someone walking out of a bathroom stall and like, do not go in there. And because we're and then goes down the stairs. Yep.
Nice. I think as you like get to that bottom story, you notice like these hedges that sort of enclosed around this building start to like lash out at you, and these vines like extend from it, like these very thorny vines, and like sort of wrap around Gia's wrists and claw at Ruby, and
oh boy,
are like sneaking towards Faye, and you can kind of hear like Rose howling from inside the house. You can kind of like, yeah, like she's commanding these thoughts.
I mean, obviously, they're literally rose vines.
Oh yeah.
Shit just got real. Judd, I mean, do we want Bima to continue being awesome, or I actually have moves for this. Is it cool if I stay Bima and you stay Faye?
Yeah, sure.
How do you want to handle this? Do you want to try and talk Rose out of her problems, or do you want to, like, escape via a cool adventure scenario?
Um.
Because if the answer is, let's go have an adventure, the correct answer is, when you can't go through, go beneath. And
Right.
I can find
That's
out
very
a
cool.
secret path or exit for us if I need to by, like, interrogating the secrets of this place.
I like the idea of Faye confronting Rose.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I was asking. And I feel like,
Yeah.
do you want to frontline that, or do you want to flip?
Um. I'll play Faye.
Awesome. I'm gonna stay Bima them because she's my companion.
Yeah. And
Although I will say, in terms of talking, I feel like Thunderbolt is better. But go on.
Thunderbolt is way better at talking.
No, it's okay. We got this. We got this. I believe in us, Judd. I will make it work.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm with you. I got your back. Let's confront
I
Rose
think-
and make her feel feelings and understand that she's mean and wrong to try and control her siblings. She's a terrible person.
Yeah, I think Faye refuses to mind her manners. I think she shows anger and she doesn't wear a smile on her face and she vexes others. And she says, Rose, you need to let her go. You ignored her when she was here. You kept her cooped up. Let her go, Rose.
I think at this point, like, Rose has descended from like the attic window, and her hair is likewise these like contorting vines with thorns. And well, let's make this roll, and then we'll see how Rose
Yeah.
responds. Yeah, so
Cool.
that'll be. Are you standing strong in your convictions, or are you refusing to mind your manners? Standing strong in your convictions means you use your beliefs to overcome the challenge, and refusing to mind your manners means you like.
I think I'm refusing to mind my manners.
Cool. So, yeah. So you're being angry as you do this.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah. She's livid. Like she's so angry that she's not yelling. She's just like very cold and clipped.
Nice. Does it remind you a bit of your when your dad was angry at you?
Oh, totally.
Oh my.
Awesome. Please go ahead and roll 2d6.
Okay. Ooh, 11.
Finally.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you just totally overcome
Yeah.
this challenge. Would you like your words to
Yeah, I would like to
Overcome
get through.
Rose,
I would like to
yeah.
get through. Like, you need to stop this, Rose.
I think the tentacles in Rose's hair like slow down, and they kind of like relax and sink a bit as she stares Faye in the eyes, and she says, "But if they go, I'll be alone."
Yeah, well, I think you need to think about some things for a while. Maybe that'll be best done alone.
I've never been alone in my life before. I've always had my sisters.
But you weren't very nice to them when they were here. So you need to be alone for a while.
I don't think you quite understand, Faye. But I don't expect you to ever.
I'm okay with that.
And I think Rose looks to Ruby and is like, "Is that what you want? You'd rather not be here? Am I that mean?"
I think there's probably a moment where Bima puts a hand on Ruby's shoulder just so that Ruby doesn't cave and she knows she's not alone and someone has her back. Like, literally.
Nice.
And you feel Ruby like sort of, she was about to like go like, oh no, it's fine, like I'm sorry, I was the one that like was wrong. But then she feels a hand on her shoulder and she just straightens a bit and like looks straight at Rose with like a kind of a square jaw, adjusts her glasses. It's like, this is what I want, Rose. I want to do experiments in other places and make scientific observations on other things. There's so much to explore in this world, and you just want to stay cooped up in our house and pretend like we're a perfect family. And it's okay that Gia's like weird and different. She still has a sister, and you just wanted to keep her cooped up in the attic and pretend like everything was normal and fine. And Rose, I think, bites on her painted lip. It's like, well, fine. If you hate being here that much, then just go.
Right, yeah, pip pip, we're going now. And Bima tries to usher everyone out.
And I think Gia just like does it, has no idea like what's going on.
Thank you for your hospitality. It was really lovely. Let's go.
And Gia's like, hey, like adventure.
Adventure. And then like once we're a little ways away from the house and the lonely figure looking at our retreating backs, I think Bima pulls up her cloak, wiggles her eyebrows very meaningfully, and then showcases that she stole the teapot. Oh yeah!
That's very good.
Cool.
I feel like that's a very good image to close down on for this evening.
Can I just have like one last thing? Like I think the last
totally.
person to leave the house and leave Rose is Thunderbolt, and I think he says very pragmatically and a little bit almost too realistically, "We will come back this way, and it's our sincere hope that you will have done the emotional labor necessary to become a better person, so that we can have some kind of reconciliation. Because without that, this will all be meaningless. I'm sorry I shit in your bed." and then he runs.
That's very good.
Oh yeah, that's game.
That's very good.
Oh goodness.
There aren't many things 12-year-olds get right. The fact that poop is funny is one of them. So,
Oh, definitely.
All right.
That was fantastic, Judd.
thank you.
Also, well, there's no end of session, so we just get to end on that arc and pick up with some more fun adventures with Ruby and Gia along the way.
Cool.
All right. So let's I guess we're doing outros. It's that time of night now.
It's weird because I'm so used to Blue Quotes where it's like, okay, and now XP.
And now it's
do
XP
that,
time.
and
Let's talk about how
yeah.
great the session was. Yeah, I kind of miss that. It feels like it's like a segue. You know, like you get like a nice little like ritual, and then everyone's happy, and we talk about how cool we were. And
Heck yeah!
All right.
It gives me ideas for future iterations of this game.
Second edition.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually made a mental note to talk to you about a thing later as well. So
Oh heck yeah!
yeah. In particular, I feel like when the girl decides what's missing in her life, there might be some cool moves that you can do with that.
Oh,
namely
definitely.
with seeing some of the magic return and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
but that's perhaps chats for after game. All right. On that note, I've been Strash Kiham, and you can find me on the Twitters at StrashA. I design games, like the one that is behind me, so I don't have it handy to show here. But wait, I'm branding. Haha. Skim and Villainy, which we're going to be playing tomorrow morning. So if you like this channel and you like your games, Lauren's going to be in that game, and there's an amazing cast. We've got some cool art to reveal tomorrow, and it's going to be an exciting time. I believe that they're currently... Oh, so for those of you that don't know, Scum and Villainy is a pew pew space adventures kind of game. And I believe our crew is currently trying to rescue a prisoner from a Legion prison ship. So like that's they're busting through walls and having some fun adventures in that particular vein. So yeah, that's tomorrow morning. Check it out. And of course, please do come back for more heartfelt adventures and bed shitting on Girl Underground in a few weeks. So, all right, Lauren, take it away.
I love it. Yes, I've been Lauren. I use she, they. I am at The Stray Kiwi on Twitter, and my website is thestraykiwi.com, which you can find all of my TRPG editing work and other games that I've designed, including this one. Yeah, I'll looking forward to catching some of you tomorrow, hopefully, playing Scum and Villainy, where I will be a sad robot, doing sad robot things. And other than that, I don't have too much else going on, apart from just a lot of TRPG editing. So looking forward to having that tomorrow, be a bit of a break between that. How about yourself, Judd?
My name is Judd, he, him, and I've got a podcast called Daydreaming About Dragons, where I talk about gaming and very often talk about these games that we play here and cool stuff we do and techniques and things that I find work. And then I often talk about a piece of media and not necessarily as a review, but like what I would get out of it for inspiration for gaming. And so anyway, come join me. If you put in the search terms Daydreaming About Dragons, you'll find your way there. I have confidence in you. And that's about it for me.
All right. And on that note, we're going to vanish for a couple of weeks. Watch our Twitters and whatnot. We'll have to discuss, because are we playing in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I forget.
It might be 2, I think. Yeah.
2? Yeah, all right. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Please come back and check us out.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. Chat was fantastic. It was still a delight to watch everyone talking about.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.